Yeah, it's in the stream. It's the third one down now. Once you get a hold of it, once you scroll through it, it's just a white canvas in a living room here. And after we get through everything, each one of the tracking methods, we should be able to post an image right onto this white canvas here. Is not in there in the classroom? Yeah. So
you got the demo exercise, your YouTube video for last weekend, the videos you downloaded last week as well, but I don't see this one.
Last weekend, you see the 10:39. Download the video on this link. Crap, this is the right classroom, right? Oh, this may not be the right one. Nope. I apologize. My classroom from 2 years ago. My bad. Give me just a second, guys. All right. Let's copy and paste. Put all this in one post. There we go. All right, it should be the first link. Show the video there. Oh, sorry. And if you haven't already, let's go ahead and submit the 3 bonfires from last class. Were there any questions on that assignment? No? Okay. Awesome. Awesome. All right. We have the video? Still downloaded? Okay, we got one. Robert, you got yours, man?
Dmpt tracking language?
Yeah. See it? It's still downloading? All right. Well, the first step's pretty simple. All right. So, got the footage, dragged it to the timeline, made another composition for me automatically. With the confines of the video here, it's a 720 HG here, not the crispiest video, but it should work for these purposes. All right, so first thing is we'll come over here to our tracker. This is where all our tools at for these couple of exercises here. The top buttons are the ones we want to mess with. We got 4 here: track camera, warp stabilizer, track motion, and stabilize motion here. First, we'll go to the track camera here. And this is kind of like the magic bullet of tracking here. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But when it does, it's very useful. For one, it makes everything simpler, easier, and we can do a lot with it, right? So the track camera's job is to create a 3D space of the footage we have with one simple button. And with this 3D space, we'll be able to place elements in here, again, as if it's 3D space, and it should track with the footage. So I should be able to put like words that sit on the couch and stay on the couch as this camera pushes in on the canvas here. Now, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, right? I've used this footage a couple of times. I've gotten it to work. I believe there's something with the gray bars on the side here, but we'll take a look as we hit the button here. All right, first step is analyzing the background. It takes a little bit of time. Next step, it'll start placing in the points for you. And you can see the progress over here off to the side. So, kind of hard to see on a projector, but once you hit the button on your computer, you can see it's analyzing each frame. Some computers are a little slower than others. All right. And since it's only 10 seconds long, it works pretty quickly. All right. Let's wait for everybody to get to this step real quick. All right. Anybody not seeing the little crosshairs, multicolored crosshairs yet? Anybody still waiting for it to process? All right, cool. So next step. So now that we have our crosshairs, we got our track camera to work. Now we got a 3D space to work with here. And you have your effects control panel that pops up off to the left here. If you click off, you might lose your dots. You just click back on the camera, the 3D tracker effect right over here, and it pops right back up. If it ever disappears for whatever reason. And then once we hover in this canvas panel here, we can see a bullseye kind of just racing around. Now what this is doing is taking 3 different points and creating a flat plane underneath your mouse, wherever you place it. And the idea is that this bullseye represents an origin point in this virtual 3D space here. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to find 3 points that are pretty flush with the couch here. Alright, I'll leave the mouse there, right click, and then I'm going to do, say, a couple of things here. Let's start with text. Create text in a camera. And then that's just going to kind of finalize that 3D space for us. And once you do that, so we got our text. Mine's just default text with some outrageous font there. And what it does at the bottom here in the timeline, it creates a 3D tracker camera, and that utility there is what makes the 3D space official, right? So whenever we make anything in this 3D space, it's going to be in respect to this 3D camera we've created. All right, so and we also got a new layer for the text. Now with this guy, I'm going to double click on it so I can edit it. My character panel pops up to the right here, and then I can type in anything. So class denomination here. Right, scrub around, you check to see if it lays flat on the couch there. It does pretty well. That's awesome. And so what I can do now is I can come back, click on my layer, and then I have this 3D tool here. It represents the 3 different dimensions. So we have our up and down, forward and back, and left and right. To put it basically, the X and Y and Z. All right. So using the curved pieces here, I'm gonna go back to my selection tool. I can rotate it around, that sort of thing. I'm not sure exactly where it is in 3D space here, so I'm going to get another view. So coming down here in the bottom corner, I'm gonna hit 2 views. All right, and for me, I got this overhead view. Yeah, overhead view. So in the bottom corner, I can see my X, which is pretty much left and right. Z is forward and back, and Y is up and down. I'm looking down on the Y axis here. All right, does anybody else get anything different? Does everybody see the X going left and right, the Z in relation to the screen, up and down? And we got a dot for the Y, the green Y axis. Okay. All right, awesome. So then from this perspective, we can change our text a little more faithfully here, so we're not losing our position and whatnot, just trying to figure out how and where to place it. So from this angle, I can grab my X, rotation here, rotate it upwards. So I'm kind of staying up and down a little bit. It's giving me a small number here, which is the degrees. I'll bring it closer to 90. So it's kind of standing straight up and down. I can use this view to turn around to go with the crease here a little bit. Also, I can move it around a little bit as well. It appears that it's moving on the couch. I'm going to go ahead and use the bounding box to make it a little smaller. There you go. I can take a look here. And so I got some letters here in terms just standing straight up on the couch. I scrub back and forth. I can see my camera movement over here, moving with the text. It gives me an idea of what kind of countermeasures it's taking to make this 2D footage look 3D for the text here. All right. So let's go ahead and get a couple of letters standing up on that couch there. We'll come around, take a look, make sure we're all on the same page, and then we can move on to our next tracking technique. Hold on. Scroll through a little bit. So it didn't take too long to track the camera, did it?
Or if it took like 20 seconds more.
No, that's good. That's good. Some computers have issues when they don't have like dedicated GPUs. But it's 20 seconds, actually, that's fine. Should be good. It's like when you get to like 1 minute, 3 minutes, and that sort of thing, it's going to exponentially grows. But it shouldn't take like hours. Got it all there.
I just don't like the arrows in the corner.
So we hit the rotation. Okay, so, sorry, in the lower right part of the canvas panel, does this say Cinema 4D or the Classic 3D?
Classic 3D.
Okay, so let's switch that to 4D. Let's see what happens. Any big changes there?
It's lower.
So with our, let's grab that rotation tool again, and then let's try to move that blue arrow. Alright, so with the rotation tool, you can grab the arrows, use that. Let's do one arrow at a time. Kind of like in mine. Let's see that three. See. A couple more times. Let's grab that red arrow. We're going to rotate it on the x-axis. And then pivot around so it's kind of parallel with the crease there. Crease in the couch. How would we do that? We'll do it in the Y. There it is. All right, cool. So that's the track count. And again, it may or may not work. It works really well. But if it doesn't work, then we got other methods we can use here. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and start a new composition here. Exit out of this. Get my window back. There we go. All right. Okay, there we go. New composition, right click on the footage again, new comp from selection. Get rid of this double view. Find where it went to. Alright, that's a little odd. I'll just work with this for now. Alright, so do composition here. Just for this, my nodes, I'm gonna call this track camera. Excuse me, the first one, track camera. And then the second one we'll call point tracking. That's odd. All right, so for this new one, new composition, right? Same footage. It got the double view here. It took away my views here, so maybe it'll pop up after we get the trackers on. Maybe not. We'll see. We'll see. We can work with this as is. I'm gonna come down here to track motion. All right, and track motion is kind of the manual thing that the Magic Bullet track camera was doing, except we're going to do it point by point. And what this means is that, well, first we start off with one point. We want to find a consistent point in the footage. Right? Start at the beginning here. Technically, you can start anywhere. You can even start at the end and track backwards. But for now, we'll start at the beginning. We can find a point in the space that's pretty stationary in the real world here, and that stays in view for the whole time, so I can track it for the entire footage. And it looks like this part here will work pretty well. It's got some decent contrast. It's got details in there that can be tracked. So I'm just going to move this whole point by clicking the center, clicking and dragging. Excuse me, move it to that divot on the couch there. I'm trying to place that extra tiny crosshair in the center on the edge of any detail with a decent amount of black and some highlight there. Again, we're looking for that contrast so I can keep track of it throughout the footage. All right, and for now, I'm just going to, over in my tracker panel here, I'm just going to have position turned on. And down here to analyze, I'm going to hit my forward, not play button, but a track button. It says analyze forward in the caption there. Punch that, and it's going to do its thing. All right, and its thing being is that it's going to take the track point, it's going to look at that point we first set it at, and it's going to go through each one of the frames and try to keep this dot on that point throughout the whole footage here. As I scrub back through, take a look how good of a job it's done, make sure there's no major swing. It looks pretty good. It's not that bad. The last part is a little jumpy there. But given that each one of these are a keyframe for our point, we can actually go in and adjust each one of these individually. to get a better tracking of. And again, this is something that the track camera does automatically. With all those different multicolored points that we gotten before on the other composition, this is just one, right? But if we have a good one, we can make this work. All right, keep in mind it's just positional tracking here. All right. And so if we already have something, actually, I'll hold off a second. Let's go ahead and get something like this on the screen, our motion path with all these keyframes, right, for one track point. And then we'll proceed to do the same thing we did with the other footage. Add in the text and see how it lines up. Okay, we get the points down, tracking point. Yep. Okay, awesome, cool. All right, next up, let's go ahead and let's make our object that we're going to fix to this motion path. All right, I'm going to choose a text. So brand new text here, double click to edit. We'll punch in our term again. Make this a little smaller. I'm going to play around with the anchor point. Press and hold Control and snap it to the corner here. Alright, once my text is in place, I come back to my tracker point. So open up tracker window again, and it gets a little tricky here. So we'll come down to the motion target section. Going to hit edit target. Then we get a little menu that pops up here. Alright, I'm going to apply it to my text layer I just made. I'm going to hit OK. One more time?
You have it in place.
Do I have the what?
When you have the thing in place, when we have our text in place, we
Oh, yeah, so we'll go back to the tracking panel. Tracking panel there. Oh, yeah, so let's hit the none. And supervise the footage and track. And then we can hit edit target. And apply that to the text layer. Let's see. make sure I'm on the first frame. And hit apply. Oh. Sorry, my menus pop up on the other screen here. Hit apply. It comes up and asks me which dimensions to apply it to. And X and Y, of course. Hit OK. And then when I scrub through, my text should be parented to this motion path here, or tracker point, or track point 1. Let's see if I can take another stab at fixing this split panel thing. Nope, still there. Okay. That might be a bug. Alright, so after you hit apply, you check OK for the X and Y. You should have it applied now, so it should follow that tracking point positionally. That's a word. Positionally. So, which means we don't get the scaling, we don't get the rotation, or anything like that. So it's pretty useful in commercials or type of like video game pre-visualizations, because when you do like a HUD, heads-up display, or you're doing some sort of motion graphic, or you have people walk across the screen and their name and title following them, that type of thing, you can use this here. So just a positional tracking point. Alright, but to get the whole magic bullet effect manually, we can also add the scale in our rotation too as well. It's a matter of going back in here, go back to our tracking, I'm going to come to the, it was originally said none, with the motion source. Hit our footage here. All right, come down here, turn on rotation and scale. All right, we have a second tracking point pop up. Now it's not, it doesn't have any frames on it, so we need to get that to analyze as well. So we should find a second spot. It's a decent distance away from the first one. It stays on camera the whole time. And I'm going to choose for this spot here. Shoot for this spot here. There you go. Alright, I messed up my little crosshair, so I'm going to drag that back to the center. Alright. Make sure I'm on the first frame, then analyze forward here. It's going to do his best to keep up with that point on the couch. All right, cool. Alright, so not too bad. It works pretty well. Alright, now since we have 2 points tracked in space, now we can it can calculate rotations, you know, whether the camera is rotating left and right, and we can calculate scale, like the distance between each of these. So it'll calculate how fast the camera is zooming in or zooming out, dulling in or dulling out. So with that, we can come back over here to edit target and make sure our text layer is on there. Hit OK. Come back down here to apply X and Y. All right, and it's going to move it around a little bit. So just, you know, in accordance with the anchor point, it's just kind of putting it in between both of those. Both of those tracking points here. So I am going to rotate it just a tad here. Not the footage, but the text. If I can get a hold of the text here. Go. Actually, I think we've already ran into a problem. Yeah. So all that's already keyed in, actually. Hey, what's up? Yeah, all that's already hardwired keyed in there. So I can't do much moving with it. As you can see, we're starting to get there. We're starting to recreate the magic bullet effect, right? So we have our rotation on there. We have our scaling. It grows. The text grows as we go in. Kind of stays in place. It's doing the best it can with both of these. But there's one more step we're going to need to do before we can actually get the whole magic bullet effect manually. We'll go over that next time. For now, let's get to this point. Let's get all the position, scale, and rotation applied to our text. We can't do any of that just yet. So all the keyframes are applied to the text. So every time we move it, we're adjusting that one keyframe. So let's just scrub through this. See if we got anything else. Is staying the same size. So, do we get that second tracker point on there? Okay, it's there. And then do we reapply it to the text? Oh, okay, I see what it is. So we got the rotation there, but the scale is unchecked. So you check that, then reanalyze. Yeah, then reanalyze from the first point. And then apply. And you should get the scale. Workable. Script through this. Stationary. Let's do a tracking pencil. One. Alright, then let's check rotation. In the tracking down there, turn on rotation scale. And let's get that second tracking point. Take this spot. And let's down. Now we got all that information, let's go ahead and, let's make sure our edit target's still on point. So that edit target and track now. Yep, that's okay. And then we can hit apply. Let's start with Alright, so we got two check, most of two, tracking methods in there. Alright, next class, yeah, there won't be any homework. Next class, we'll finish up with the tracking information. We'll have an assignment for next week. Any questions so far? Pretty solid? Okay, cool. All right. So if there's nothing else, I'll see you guys on Wednesday. Oh, we probably should go ahead and knock this out. Let's go ahead and do what pages? Let's go ahead and read through lesson 9. About 24 pages. I'll give you an idea of everything else coming up here. Oh, yeah, not next class, but it will be a quiz on tracking and stabilizing in After Effects. Coming up here.